Oh, we all right?
There he is.
Yeah, you. This is new to you, Skype, isn't it?
Skype, yeah. Yep, never heard of Skype before. Took me about 3 hours to download it, but we got there in the end.
So, Sam, Keith's been talking about you, so tell us a little bit about the manager.
Keith, he's awful. I mean, no. Keith was quality. Gave my real chance, really, to be honest, in non-league. I went there. I think I was 19 or 20. I'd been at Ebbsfleet a few years before. Sat on the bench, travelling around the country, not really getting much game time. Then went to Dartford for pre-season, but it didn't quite work out. I think I got ill. I was ill for a couple of weeks, and then that's it really in pre-season. You sort of lose your chance, and it got to the start of the season, really. A couple of weeks before, and then Keith, got in touch and gave me a chance. So I come along and played a few games, and unfortunately took Northie's place.
Do you remember how old you was then, Sam?
I was, actually, I think I got my timings wrong because I had a season at Ramsgate before I come to Thamesmead. So it was Dartford, Ramsgate, and then Temo. So it was I must have been 19 or 20.
I showed you the picture when we went out the other time. Do you remember come up when you sat down? I think it was the second season and signed the contract. Do you remember in that room?
Yeah, no, he took me out to a cold, dark room. Nothing in the room apart from a table, a piece of paper and a pen.
Yeah.
Stuck me on a contract for the rest of the season, so which is nice because obviously Keith showed a lot of faith in me. So I was always going to sign it.
I got a lot of stick, didn't I, for the club when you come down letting Northie go because obviously he was a bit of a legend, wasn't he? And everyone was going, "What are you doing?" Yeah.
I mean, Northie was obviously as solid a goalkeeper as it comes. He was a character, and he's been at Thamesmead for a while. So it was quite a big gamble on your part to take a chance on a young keeper, which not many people do, to be honest. So I hope that I repaid you.
Well, I think the proof was in the pudding. Just tell everyone a bit about your career, Sam. That obviously that not necessarily don't know you because most will know of you because you've played in most of the leagues across the Eastern and above. Obviously, what happened from Thamesmead and then obviously to where you are now.
So I had a couple of seasons at Thamesmead, and then I think we played against Welling, didn't we, in the FA Trophy?
Yeah.
And we drew at home, and then we had a replay at Welling. And I think that's where I probably one of the best games I've ever had in my life, to be honest. And
it's the best performance I've ever seen from a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was just one of those nights where absolutely everything went right for me. And from there, Jamie Day got in contact. And next season, I signed for Welling. I think I was 23. And then went on and had a good season. We won the Conference South. Got my call up for the England C. Unfortunately, didn't get to play, which was a big game, but something brilliant to be a part of. And then from Welling, obviously we won the league there, and I signed on to be number one in the conference. And then had my probably one and only touchwood injury in pre-season. Got injured against Leyton Orient. Done my ankle and was out for about 3 months. So I got to sort of September time. Season's been going on for about a month, and it was sort of obviously Welling had to get a goalkeeper in, and had to have the tough conversation with Jamie Day that you're not going to be playing, so you either sit on the bench again, and I just was never going to do that again, really, to be honest. So from Welling, I went to. This is probably where one of my biggest regrets in my career, to be honest, not because of the club, but I went to East Thurrock for a couple of months. But obviously Keith will remember this. And I should have gone back to Thamesmead, to be honest. Keith wanted me at the time. And looking back on it in hindsight now, I should have gone back there and just enjoyed my football again. I lasted, I think, 2 or 3 months at East Thurrock, and it wasn't really fair on them, to be honest. I didn't.
Dave, that's the first time he's ever admitted that.
No, I didn't play how I could really for East Thurrock. So it didn't work out there. And then Keith, luckily enough, asked me to come down again. And I went back to Temo. And we gave, this was in the Ryman Prem, wasn't it, Keith? So we gave it a real go. But unfortunately, we got relegated on the last game of the season. And then from there in the summer, I spoke to Jimmy McFarlane at Hornchurch. And Keith understood that I wanted to play at the highest level that I could. And went and signed for Hornchurch and stayed at Hornchurch for 4 years. Unfortunately, I had another relegation in the first season I was there. We was tipped to be one of the promotion favourites, but they was having some work done on their ground, and we played the first 12 games away from home. So we couldn't play any games at home for the first 12 games. It ended up unfortunately in relegation. And then from there, another 3 seasons at Hornchurch. 2 seasons in the playoffs, lost to Harlow, which Dave, I'm sure you'll probably remember.
I remember we were there. Well, we were both there on that day. And funny enough, which I didn't realise until just recently, of course, the assistant manager at the time is now the standing manager at Harlow at the minute now, as we speak.
Yeah, the colourful Mark Holloway.
Yeah.
You know him, Sam, don't you?
I know Mark, yeah. Yeah, I know him. No, he's a nice fella, Mark. He's a nice fella. I was actually just googling it to see if he was in that game, and I was going to ask you. That's why I was picking up the phone. But yeah.
But I met you before the game, because we done commentary on it, didn't we, Dave?
Yeah.
So I went to see Sam before the game.
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't really remember much about that game. So I got a whack on the head. Got the old Terry Butcher wrap around my head. Nice big lump of Vaseline on the cut.
We thought you was going to come off, and you stayed on, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I'm looking back now, I think I was knocked out for about a minute. So, come on, someone told me we was in a playoff final and I needed to carry on. So I got up and carried on, then let in a goal from about 60 yards.
But then,
after that, we eventually got promoted again with Hornchurch in the last season I was there. Got promoted again, and then in the summer, things with my work and stuff started to get a bit more serious. So I couldn't really commit to too much of the travelling around in the Ryman Prem. So, and then Gary Alexander come in for me when he was at Ashford. I sat down with Gary, and they, it's made me a really good offer on that, and I couldn't really say no. So, in the last couple of seasons I've been at Ashford, thoroughly enjoyed myself under Gal. It was, I really enjoyed playing under Gary. And then obviously when it went wrong for them, Tommy's come in, Tommy Warlow. I get on great with Tom, and it's been really enjoyable. So this last season, obviously, been captain. Enjoyed the season, and we was going all right. We weren't doing too bad, and then all of a sudden come to a halt. So,
what was your feelings on that? Are you with me and Keith that the season should have been null and void, or are you in the other camp that says it should have been points per game?
No, I agree. I agree that it should have been null and void. There was too much of the season left to play. You can't. It's all right for those. I mean, and that's obviously coming from me, and we were sitting in second. So there was still something. I think Chichester, some teams like that said 12 games left. So and all the teams got to play each other. So it was too up in the air really to then take it on points per game there.
Well, I don't know if either of you guys saw during the week one of the Scottish leagues. Did you see that on Sky Sports during the week? A team was about 14 points in front, or something along those lines, in one of the Scottish leagues, and they decided to do it on points per game. And the team that's down in 4th or 5th have been crowned the champions because they're on a better goals per game, points per game than the team that was in first place. And even both managers just couldn't believe that that they'd been given the championship, and they'd interviewed them both and just said they were shocked that they'd been given it, even though I think they had games in hand because they was in the Scottish FA Cup, but they'd actually said points per game, and they gave the lead to the team in about 4th or 5th place.
No, I didn't see it, David. I don't watch anything below the Belarus League, so I wouldn't have seen any Scottish football.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, with the points per game thing, I think obviously last season was harsh on some teams as well, but I thought last season, at least obviously we got to play the whole season and people knew about the points per game.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you had the chance to get the points on the board. Whereas this season, you still got, as I say, there's still 30 odd points up for grabs.
Yeah, it's different if, like you said, once you finish the season, but when there's points still up for grabs, and I still think it's an hard one. Just going back over your career, Sam, because I said I know you really well and I know the sort of person you are, but and this ain't just putting it out there. You can be honest. What attracts you to football apart from just the game itself? I know you said you've had good cracks, but just obviously the friendships and that you've got in football. What would you say is one of the best changing rooms you've been in, and even one of them that you might not have even played for the team?
I mean, to be honest, I haven't really been involved in the bad changing room, but the best two was, I mean, at Hornchurch we had a really good changing room. Kept the same group of players together for quite a while, so and eventually it paid off. But at Thamesmead, it was a changing room like none other really. It was brilliant, and it shows today because we're still really, really close mates. All in the WhatsApp group together, see each other at least once a month. So yeah, I say those two are probably up there with Thamesmead, definitely with the best I've ever been in.
I mentioned the Thamesmead, and not because obviously of my connection, but when we won the playoffs, you weren't even in our side, was you? And what sort of day did you have?
I don't really remember, Keith, to be honest. Yeah, well,
why don't you remember?
I might have had a few shandies before 11 o'clock in the morning, but it was, to be honest, I think it was the week before, it must have been the week or 2 weeks before that I'd won the league with Welling.
Yeah,
I was on a high anyway, and obviously I followed Thamesmead and all the boys there. Like, obviously they're my really close mates. So and yeah, I was lucky enough. I think you invited me on the team bus, so I got to travel up there and watch the whole game. And it was such an epic game, up and down. So I think at the end of the game, I was on the pitch. I was on the pitch celebrating with you all winning.
Where was you standing when the penalties were happening?
I was standing behind the goal. May have been giving the goalkeeper a little bit of abuse, but not. It's only a friendly abuse. You know what I mean? Just keeping it clean, innit?
Dave, when we got the winning penalty, he jumped the barrier. He was the first one to sprint past the goal mouth, and he just jumped on us all. Him and his close mate Lou Tozer, who was injured, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was me, Lou, and Ashley Roberts. Yeah, no, it was a good day, son, and thoroughly deserved as well.
Is that something that, as a football, I mean, to take it away from Sam for a second, is that something that, Keith, I know you've been to a few, I've been to a few, is that something that you're going to miss probably at this sort of time of the year? Because, of course, we're heading into playoff final weekend. Is that something that, you guys are probably going to miss this time round because, of course, we're not going to get them? So it's always that May Day bank holiday you look forward to over that weekend when you get to see normally sort of 3 or 4 cracking games.
Well, Sam's been in the playoffs. How many times now, Sam, have you been in the playoffs? You was in them last year, weren't you?
I've been in them 3 times.
Yeah, she's been in 3 times. Me personally, and I think there's going to be a few fans that might start giving us some grief, Dave. I don't think he would have got in the playoffs this year. I think they might have won it. Okay, big statement for me. I think you was on a good run, weren't you? I know your last game of the season wasn't the best one. They kind of went out by us. But, before that, Tom had got a really good balance of a side, hadn't you, I thought? He'd let a few go or moved on, and you got a few in. And I just, George Purcell was a big signing, I thought.
Yeah, Tom made a couple of great signings. I think we had Tommy Fagg, and he got Sam Haster in on loan from Folkestone.
He picked an injury up as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and then obviously George Purcell, who obviously just scores goals wherever he goes. And yeah, we were on a bit of a run. I think the turning point really was when we went to Hastings and won there. And we won pretty comfortably, to be honest. And that sort of gave us the belief that I think we could push on. Because before that, we'd been doing all right. I mean, we was up there, but it was just a little bit of inconsistency every now and again. But yeah, from that Hastings game, we pushed on and we believed that we could go on and win it. So it was just, it's a bit of a gutting one that he had to win so soon. But here's what he's can't do too much about it.
Well, Rob Budds just said, you mean you had 8 or 9 shandies, Marty?
8 or 9 shandies.
That's bad.
No, 8 or 9 shandies. More like 8 or 9 bottles of champagne, I think it was.
Chris Ottaway's come in and said Tommy Faggy's class.
He's good player.
Mark's come in and said Sam didn't mention Transition Town Whitstable.
Yeah, I went on loan to Whitstable when I was 15 or 16 when they were in the Kent League. So I went to loan to Whitstable, and my first game was Whitstable against Herne Bay. So that was a nice welcome to non-league football, really.
with obviously just going back over your career a bit, Sam. Obviously, like Saturday was meant to be the last game of the season, and obviously now we can say is the in between pre-season. Over the last 4 or 5 seasons, even longer, your phone's sort of proper ringing, isn't it? What sort of makes up your mind of where you're going to go, and put your perspective of what you look at as a club and you as in football at this time. What's going through players' minds?
Well, for me, it's difficult. I think obviously it's different for different players. For me personally, it's a lot to do with work commitments. Obviously, I work in near Borough, up at London Bridge, and it is location really. Getting to games and stuff like that. Obviously, you need to make sure that. So I don't like being late with stuff like that. So location-wise, you have to make sure that it's viable. And then I always like to just try and join teams that are going in the right direction. To be honest, you look at see what other players what players they've signed, what they've done in previous years, fan base and stuff. I always look to join a team that are going to be challenging for something. So, and that's always been my drive. So yeah, that's what I would be looking for really.
Well, Mark,
go on.
So Craig Holloway's come in saying, great lad, always listening at Gravesend and Northfleet. Mark's come back and said, cheers, I don't know where the word transition came in, LOL. So
yeah, I was with Craig. Craig was he must have only been, he was quite young as well when he was at Gravesend and Northfleet, and I was really young. I was only maybe 15, I think. So I remember doing loads of training with Craig. He was a brilliant non-league keeper.
What was the feeling like for you when you get that call up to go and play for England C? What was that sort of moment like for you?
Oh well, it was. To be honest, it was it was strange. I got a text from Jamie Day at must have been about 10 o'clock in the evening, just saying congrats on the call up, mate. I didn't have a clue what was going on, so I had to text him back and say, call up to what? What do you mean? And he come back and said to England, and it's just overwhelming pride, Dave, to be honest. So it's something that you always obviously would love to happen when you're a kid, no matter what obviously level it is at. But for England to get called up to represent your country, to do anything, was just overwhelming pride. And as I say, I didn't really get to play, but obviously the week that I was with them and training with them, and then getting out on the pitch, everyone was out on there, obviously singing the national anthem is something that I will sort of treasure and remember forever.
What was it? Who was they playing against at the time?
It was against Turkey. It was against Turkey B. It was, I always get the name of the competition wrong, but it was the semi-final. And it was quite funny really, because I see all the other England C called ups, and they get to go abroad and they get to go and play wherever. And I got to go and stay at the Marriott in Bexley Heath, and I got to play at Dartford. I sit on the bench at Dartford on a wet, cold, miserable night in February, but it was a great atmosphere. So there was 3,000-4,000 people there. The Turkish fans were incredible. There was easily sort of 500-600 of them. There was flares. It was really was a big deal to them as well. So it was just a great occasion to be involved with.
Did you win the game?
No, they lost. I think it was. Gosh, I know this. They lost 1-0. I
thought it was 3-1, but you might be right.
Yeah, I think it was 1-0 because it was close up until I think they scored in the last 10 minutes. So, but I mean, they had some serious players playing the Turkish team. They had a lad who Real Madrid bought for £2 million. Like, and it was just like, and do you know what I mean? The season before, obviously with Keith, I was playing against, like, no disrespect to him, but Potter's Bar and stuff, played teams like that. And this geezer's gone to sign and play at the Bernabeu. I just thought it's just a massive jump, but one that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Great experience for you as well. So just with things like now, Sam, obviously you don't know when the season's going to start and things like that, or pre-season. I don't know if you've been in contact with Tom or if he spoke to you about any plans for pre-season. But as an outfield player, I would say this sort of time you can, I know what you're like as a person. You can keep yourself a little bit fit, but as a keeper, how difficult is it just you know, to have 4 or 5 months out and stick your gloves back on and get back in the rhythm again?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like I say, I think myself ticking over to try and do a bit of running here and there and stuff like that. But it's more the in-game situation, to be honest, Keith. I mean, with me, I always feel like I'll never lose my handling and stuff like that. That would always be there. I could not play for sort of 6 months, and I think I'll be able to go and just pick it up straight away. But it's more some more positioning and the reading the game. So that's where you miss out. And usually you find that out within the first sort of 20 minutes, half hour of the first pre-season friendly game. So that's where you sort of gauge where you know where you're at. I'd say that's the biggest thing really. Just getting yourself back in and getting your angles right and stuff like that, to be honest. So and you can't really do that unless you have games to practice in.
Have you spoke as a team? Obviously, you're mostly on a WhatsApp group as a team, and with Tom, is there any sort of you must have seen social media with players saying I've signed and whatever. Have you spoke at all?
I'll speak to Tom quite a lot. Obviously, we've sort of spoke about it next season, but it's so up in the air. I'd just like to say I listened to you a bit earlier, and it's just ridiculous. Teams announcing players and stuff. I mean, you can announce a player, and then it might not be 7 or 8 months till they say delighted to make my debut for such and such. So it's stupid, really. You can't until we have any sort of guideline to when anything's going to resume and have a bit of normality. I think you just have to take it all with a pinch of salt.
Do you guys think, though, when we do go back and you get back to that very, very first game that you're going into, what sort of size crowds do you think you're going to get? Do you think you're going to get a bigger crowd than normal? Or do you think you're going to get the same crowd as you've had previously before? Or do you think there'll be less people at the ground? Will there be less people because they're worried about what might happen?
Listen, there can't be any less at our ground. I'm only joking, by the way. No, Sam's, they get good support at Ashford, so
yeah.
I think it's going to be depending on what happens with the pro game. I think if the pro game resumes and everyone's playing behind closed doors, but for some strange reason they'll let non-league crowds in, then obviously, I think you expect bigger crowds. But I'd like to think more people would come out and watch, but you just don't know what sort of frame of mind people are going to be in.
Yeah,
they want to gather crowds.
The frame of mind's the big one. It could go either way. They just want to get out and watch football. They could be nervous that don't want to. It's a really uncharted territory. It is difficult to know. I don't until we actually get out and all get back to work fully again. And it's a difficult one. I think football will be one of the last things that goes back to normal because, as we spoke earlier, Sam, about clubhouses, bars, etc. Ashford will need their bar open, will they?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, Ashford have got they've got the bar where they host parties. They've got the big function room, and they opened a marquee as well, like to hold weddings in. So, obviously, the sooner they can get that stuff open and running again, the better for the club financially.
So, just going back to your football, because we've been asking players this over the last few weeks. Who's the best player you've played with, and who would you say the best you've played against?
Oh, blimey. It's hard, isn't it, really? Because it's different positions, really. I mean, the best forward that I've played with, probably, and against, is Georgie Purcell. Just because he can probably do nothing in a game for 89 minutes, and he can pick a ball up 40 yards out and smash it in the top corner. So his left foot is unbelievable, really. But it's hard, really. The other players, I mean, I've been lucky enough to play with some good defences in front of me. Obviously, at Thamesmead, Keith, we had Ash Proberts and Toes and Donners and Jack Hopkins. And then obviously sitting in front of them with Danny Moore and Dulce as well. So some really, really obviously strong players. And at Hornchurch, again, played with some great players. Nathan Cooper, centre half, very, very good. And he could go on and play at a lot higher level than he's playing at now. So, I'll say they're the best that I've played with. Best I've played against. That is tough. I mean, I've always rated Franny Collin.
Yeah.
Franny Collin's a very, very good player, movement-wise. And I'm just trying to think of some of the players that I played in for the Conference South.
Is there a centre forward or a player that you play in most seasons that either scores against you all the time or just can't score against you?
Last couple of seasons, I think Charlie Mack has scored against me a few times. So, and
he scores against everyone though, so that ain't a big issue.
Yeah, I always enjoy playing against Zach Answer as well.
Yeah, Zach's a good player.
I enjoy playing against him. He scored a decent goal against me in Herne Bay, but I've also felt like I've kept him out a few times. So, yeah, I'd say those two.
What about you know, I mean, you look at it there. I mean, can you remember in your career what would be on that sort of line what Keith just asked, but the best goal you've had scored against you and the best sort of save you've made?
Best goal against me. God, that is hard.
I was thinking more of a 40-yarder. That was what I was thinking.
I can't remember that one, Dave. I told you, mate.
Ain't many of them.
Yeah.
The one that Thamesmead scored against him when he was at East Thurrock, when I told everyone to stick it on him.
yeah, I've got a nice nudge from Tyrus.
Yeah.
I'd say, wise, there's three that stick out for me, really. There was one at Thamesmead when we played away against Great Wakering. Was a header. Was going one way. Was going one way and dived back the other and managed to tip it around the post.
Welling in the replay of the trophy as well.
Oh yeah, a couple at Welling. There's one down low from Big Ben Martin that went through a crowd of players that I managed to get down to. And then there was another one at Hornchurch against Billericay. I think Glenn Paul had a shot from outside the area, took a deflection, managed to change me direction, dive and tip it over the bar. So yeah, that was a decent one. I think that the best goal, actually, I've just remembered it now, that anyone's ever scored against me was Keith probably remember as well. He was playing for Romford. Can't remember his name. Was it Chuck? Because then we signed him, Keith.
Oh, Mackenzie. Oh no. Oh yes, I do. Not Ducku, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Quickest geezer ever.
Yeah, and he scored. It was like Gary Alexander's goal, actually, at Wembley, like that.
He signed him because of that goal.
Yeah, he just smashed one from. Well, he was near on the throwing line. He just smashed it and he went straight over the end to the corner. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, a throw over his head and he just hit it. I remember.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected it at all. So I certainly didn't. So yeah, I'd say that was the best one.
Rob's coming and said it was never a foul.
Oh, Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy said that.
Yeah, he's on about Tyrus's goal. Do you remember?
I love Buddy.
No, he's a good. So Sam, just obviously going back, you ain't going to get that much bigger here, but why do you think obviously a lot of clubs hold you and players and managers in such high esteem as a keeper at our level and also above? Because be honest, I know you said work-wise, but you shouldn't be playing at our level. You shouldn't be playing in the Eastern League, for my opinion. I don't even think you should be playing conference football. For me and most people say you're 100% a league keeper. I think you could have gone and made it. But it's not because you're my mate. You know how highly I regard you. But why do you think other managers do? Just sort of say what your strengths are and things like that.
I just like to think I'm consistent, really. I don't overcomplicate the game. I'm not really. I wouldn't class myself as one of the modern day goalkeepers where I'm going to spray it around with both feet and stuff like that. But I would like to think that if there's a cross there to be taken, I don't shy away and I'll come out and get it. Which, especially when I was younger, I think if you've done that as a young goalkeeper, come out and take crosses in non-league, you seem to get noticed.
Yeah,
and I recognise that pretty straight away. So yeah, I think it would just be consistency. To be honest, obviously I'm pretty confident when I play. Every time I go out, I like to believe that I'm not going to let any goals in. And I just think most teams that I've joined, I'd like to think have had some sort of success, or we've always been up there challenging. So, and also that gave me confidence, obviously, as the years went on. So, but yeah, I'd just say probably consistency.
How is it? Obviously, you've got to be mentally strong to be a keeper as well, because as you just said, like any player, you have the odd bad game, not many, but when you do make a mistake and a big one, it costs a goal. How is it to sort of get yourself back up from that?
It was a lot more difficult when I was younger, to be honest. Now I can make a mistake and pretty much try and block it out straight away. My next thought would be now, if I made a mistake, is how can I make amends? But when I was younger, yeah, it used to affect you mentally quite a lot. And obviously, people know when you're a goalkeeper, if you make a mistake, it's a goal. That's it. Basically, there's no other. On the rare occasion, someone might help you out, but usually make a mistake, it's a goal. So, yeah, but now I'm a bit older. It is just mentally trying to, just make amends, really. Just repay your team for the mistake that you've made.
And obviously now, sort of looking forward, what's your next ambition?
With Ashford at the moment, it's to be honest, it feels like it's a bit unfinished business. Obviously, last season we lost in the playoff final in extra time. Obviously, knowing that we weren't really going to go up unless other teams lost. And then again, we was in a good position this year. So it's just promotion, really. Wherever I go, that is my main aim. I won't, as I said before, I won't join a club, especially not now at the moment. Just obviously, I want to enjoy it, but just to enjoy being a mid-table team, that's not my mentality, really. So I'd like to go somewhere that I know is going to challenge, and I'm going to help that team challenge for promotion, or at least obviously automatic. If not, obviously the minimum will be playoffs.
And being a goalkeeper, and obviously, how long do you think you could actually go on and play for? It's like you said, you're not the modern day goalkeepers. That shouldn't affect you.
No, I know. I don't know, really, kids, mate. Until my body says no. Until my missus says no.
Well, I didn't want to say about the missus because that's you are a little bit under the thumb. You've got to go home by 11 and things like that. So. Someone's made a message, and Sam, you're going to comment after me as well on this. And I was waiting because I thought he might be watching the show. But Alan Martin, who you know, has just texted in Sam, and he said, "A great keeper, such a lovely bloke. So pleased to have followed your journey via Thamesmead." Now, I don't know if you know, Sam, that obviously Alan lost his son-in-law yesterday, Gareth, who was at Thamesmead with us. And Alan is the nicest person in the world, Dave. And he's come on our show, and he spoke very passionately about Thamesmead when we was going through the stages, you may remember. And as a family, they've gone through more than anyone. And obviously, I spoke to Alan personally yesterday, and I know all the footballing world and Phoenix are all sort of showing some support to Alan and obviously his family, and obviously his daughter Jane as well. And obviously you know him as well, Sam. Yeah,
no, it's. I mean, Alan is the nicest bloke in football. There's no other way to say it, really. And like you say, the heartbreak that him and his family have been through. Send my condolences to them all. But yeah, he really is a legend, and he's a top bloke, and his words mean a lot.
There we go, top man. So what is it for you now then? What are you going to be doing for yourself for now until whenever?
Growing my hair, I think.
For Wednesday now.
No, I'm just going to try and grow my hair as long as I can.
Ash won't be happy with that. We should have put him next to you.
Yeah, there's no chance of me shaving it off. It will never go back. So, yeah, not a lot really. Obviously, I'm not working at the moment. Not because I haven't got a job, just because we can't. So, yeah, I'm just going to spend as much time as I can with the missus, quality time. Just take each day by day, to be honest. There's not much else you can do. Try and remain positive, help out when I can. Yeah, just keep in contact with people as much as you can, and there's not much else you can do, really.
Wait, he's going to message in and go, "You haven't mentioned him that he made you."
No. Steve Waite there's a couple of coaches that in my career that have really helped me. When I was younger, there was a coach at Charlton. There was a coach called Lee Smelt, who was an old Nottingham Forest keeper, and he really did help me when I was younger. Top coach. And then from there, I went on to be coached by Ron Hilliard at Ebbsfleet, who's obviously Ron's a legend at Gillingham. He's an all-time appearance holder, I think. So yeah, Ron helped me. And then I had the pleasure to work with Waity for 2 years at Thamesmead, and Waity again is another. He's a legend of non-league football, and someone I hold in high regards. Obviously, not through football, I made some amazing mates, and obviously self and Waity and Toes, Dons, or people like that, and Waity's up there. He's a top man, and to be fair to him, he made me the fittest goalkeeper I've ever been.
People are surprised with him, aren't they? Like, we've got Bluey down with us at the moment, and we've had a few keepers over the last couple of years. As you know, through injuries, we've had loads. And I know Buddy will say the same. Obviously, when we spoke to, was it Mike last week? Leighton Orient, who Steve knew through Wimbledon. When you see Steve's like 63, 64 now. I think he might even be older. And people go, how can he cross the ball and things like that, especially when you look at his legs. But the work he puts a goalkeeper through is massive, isn't it?
No, yeah, definitely, yeah. He's old school, but I mean, it works. So as I say, when I went to Thamesmead, I was pretty fit, but I think Steve saw it as a chance to put the young kid through his paces, and he did. But it helped me out, no doubt. You know, I was probably, no doubt, I was the fittest I'd ever been. So, and that helped with my performances. So
he'd be happy with that. You didn't slaughter him. Can't drink though, can he?
Can't drink.
Another message, Huss, and you know Huss Physio. And again, if any club out there or any person's looking for any physio or any help, he's mostly the best physio I've known. But he's come on and said, "What a man!" Go on, Motty.
Oh yeah, Huss is. I keep using this word, but he's a legend. He's just a top bloke, and he is the best physio that I've worked with. Didn't get to work with him for that long, unfortunately, but he is a top man. And to say every player in the changing room, and I think obviously coach and stuff respect him. So it just shows what a good job he does.
Like I said, mate, you've had a great career, and you've still got a lot to offer. And some good times, and like I said, we've had some laughs over the years, and out of football as well. But you are one of the genuinely nice people in football, and to manage. You never caused us any problems. You didn't have any to give us really. But it said, Dave, I've made some good friends, and Sam was in that bunch of a changing room that I think that I'll never replace. And it's funny that obviously I don't know if you've seen Justin Gardner's been asking for some clips from managers so he can send off and try and raise some money from the NHS. But that changing room we had, I think is as will always go on. And we go out once a month still, don't we? We go out for a meal, and it's like it hasn't changed apart from we're not putting a kit on, because some of the things that comes out on this meal is quite legendary, as Sam would keep saying.
Yeah, it's well, like I say, I just think it just shows that from obviously over 10 to 15 years later, we're all still in touch with the group on a daily basis, really. Obviously, it's not just all players. Obviously, it's got Deaders in there as well, and Brian Lee. So yeah, it just shows really what a good changing room it was. And it's like I say, it's part of non-league. You get to make some really good mates, and I've made some of my closest mates from non-league. So it's it's good to be involved with.
Well, Sharon's just come and said, I agree with Sam that Lee Smelt was a fab coach. He coached Harry for about 4 years. It was Harry's the goalkeeper down at Chesham.
Yeah, no, he was brilliant. Yeah, Smelt, he was a brilliant coach. He was just scared the life out of me. I'm not going to lie. When I was younger, he was massive, so he just scared the absolute life out of me. But yeah, no, his coaching was brilliant. So he gave me the technique that I've got today. So,
Sam, do you think goalkeeping's come on? Do you think obviously the youngsters now are getting a more of a look in than what? Like you said, we're going back to when I first signed you. It was all about experience. Oh, you had to be big, didn't you? And listen, you're a size of a keeper, but do you think that keepers have been given more of a chance now? And obviously, I know the game's changed, but obviously, fundamentally, you've still got the most important thing is keep the ball out of the net. But who would you also say is the top goalkeepers around at the moment at our level?
At our level, I mean, there was a young keeper when I was at Hornchurch, Callum Chafer.
Yeah, I know Callum. Yeah,
and he's a very, very, very good. He's a really good goalkeeper now. I think he's going to push on and play up the leagues. Callum, and then another goalkeeper who I played with probably with the last sort of half a season at Hornchurch, and then he went on to Canvey, Harry Palmer.
It's funny because me and Harry spoke. He played when he was younger. He struggled a bit, and he has gone on to be a decent goalkeeper.
Yeah, obviously he's at Ebbsfleet, and he's done really well, and he's so committed. He really wants to make it as a pro. So I think Harry's got a good chance. But keepers I played against this year, I think Hastings keeper is a good keeper.
He is.
Very good. He's another one that I call a modern day goalkeeper. Very good with his feet.
The Guernsey keeper is up there, isn't he?
Yeah, Guernsey keeper. Yeah, he played when we played him at Ashford. He played well. They beat us 3-1, and then when we went over there and we won 6-0, I think it was 6 or 7-0, and I felt really sorry for him. Just every time he made a save, there'll be a rebound that we put in. So, but yeah, he's decent. He's up there as well. He's a good goalkeeper. I'd say sort of those 3 or 4 really young keepers. I'd probably say them. Obviously, you've got 6 keepers like me, experienced ones. Lamar has always been a decent goalkeeper, and Buddy will do a good job wherever he goes. Fittest goalkeeper I've ever seen, Buddy. He'll be beating players in running. He's that fit. So, but yeah, I'd say that those group.
Well, I saw a clip today. I don't know if you've seen it, Keith. Averley put a clip out today of their game against East Thurrock, and the keeper getting sent off, and outfield player going in goal and saving the penalty against East Thurrock. It was a decent save as well, I must admit. When you saw the actual the name of the player escapes me now, I must admit, but I know he's a well-known player as well, and dived full length to his right and tipped it around the post. It was a great save for an outfield player, at least. I don't know if you guys saw that today. Did you see the clip?
We used to put Butts in goal. Do you remember?
Butts. Yeah, but he used to love it as well.
Yeah, he did.
He used to love it.
If he went in goal. Did he go in goal? Did you get injured one game and he went in? Was it you or was it Buddy?
No, I think it was Buddy. It was Buddy, and then Callum as well went in goal, didn't he, for a game when Buddy got injured.
Yeah.
And Ash, when I got sent off, funny enough, against East Thurrock, Ash went in goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I wasn't a bad cat, Dave.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh dear. Listen, mate, I really appreciate you coming on. You've done us a favour, and obviously, like I said, you've come across really well again. I hope you stay safe with the missus, and I hope I can get out and we can go and have a beer again soon and carry on from where we all left off.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Chaps, enjoyed it. Yeah, I hope you both, all your family, stay safe.
Yeah, and you, mate. Thanks.
Take care, mate.
Appreciate that, mate.
Right.
Cheers, Marty.
Take care.
Mate.
Mate.